It's good to say this. The gate was $3.3 million. Arena record. We broke the arena record. 15,269 people here tonight. Fight of the night is the flyweights. Molina and Adjaquiling. Yeah. Fight gonna be a long fucking press conference, boys and girls. Performance of the night, Usman Rose. They all won $50,000. Kamaru's only the second. The fuck is going on back there? Kamaru's only the second person to knock out Masvidal, and Rose is the first female to ever win the title. I guess it's never been done before. So, congrats to all of them. What a week, what a night. What's up?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I'm sure you'll want to kind of decompress, right? I mean, this card was amazing on its own, but then to be the first one back, I mean, how do you sum up everything that happened tonight, just how you're feeling at the moment?
Yeah, it was an amazing night. I think, oh, sorry, yeah, okay. I felt it yesterday too at the weigh-ins and at the fighter meeting. Felt weird, felt different at the fighter meeting yesterday, and you know, these guys came out tonight and performed from the first fight of the night to the main event, and obviously the fans were absolutely insane. It was really. I mean, we had this conversation. I've talked to some of you personally about it, and I've talked to you guys, you know, about it. But there's just a different energy you get when people are here. And tonight was insane.
We've got a lot to talk about in terms of fights, but Chris Weidman, what's the latest with him? Do you have any medical updates on him?
He's stable right now, and he'll have surgery in the morning.
Jimmy Crute as well. I mean, was that one of those weird ones with the nerve, or did he maybe a ligament? Do we know?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a nerve. I think he blew his knee. There's something wrong. And listen, I'm no doctor, but yeah, his knee is not right.
Let's talk about Kamaru Usman. As you said, just an absolutely amazing performance from him tonight. I don't think anybody saw the fight ending that way. Just what are your thoughts on him? And he's saying, hey, I'm pound for pound number one. I mean, are you looking at him as that as well?
Yeah, listen, I think we can all agree. No matter how you feel, you know, the guy's getting booed in there tonight. He's one of the best ever, and he's on his way to probably being the greatest of all time. I mean, the guy is an absolute stud. He looks better every time he comes out. You know, these people talk about him being boring. You're an idiot. You're an idiot if you think this guy's boring. He hasn't been in a boring fight in a while, and, you know, he changed after he did that whole I only gave 30% tonight thing. He's been a different human being ever since the RDA fight.
No doubt. Colby Covington was in the building. Does that seem like the fight to make now? I mean, obviously the history there.
It's the fight to make. Yeah, he's the #1 guy in the world. And, you know, Usman's thing was he didn't want him to be the backup. He's like, I want Masvidal, then I want to camp, and I'll take him again. And, you know, he's like, I'm going to start lapping these guys. But for him to really cement your legacy, you know, when you go in and you beat the guys who are looked at as the best in the world at that time, and you beat them twice, and you beat them convincingly, you know, it's all just part of cementing that legacy that this guy's going to end up having someday.
Can you get your thoughts on Rose? Obviously an incredible win for her, and then emotional scenes. I mean, Joe Rogan's in there crying. I mean, what were your thoughts on just the whole thing?
Tonight was special, man. Tonight was a special night in so many different ways. You know, monumental for us to be back first. Yeah, it was a big night. And everybody fought like it was a big night.
Yeah. That division strawweight's so deep with amazing fighters. Do you see a clear-cut #1 contender for Rose, or is this one that we're going to have to kind of figure out what makes sense?
Listen, obviously the rematch is, you know, that's a fun fight. And I think a lot of people will be excited about that fight. But, you know, I don't make fights the night of the fight, but I'm just saying off the top of my head, that makes a lot of sense.
Last thing on fights, Valentina. I mean, I think we're running out of superlatives to describe how good she is. I mean, what can you say about Valentina?
It's almost like, tell me if this is how you felt tonight when she was fighting, like she was pissed. Like she was mad that anybody could, because I love this fight because I knew Jessica Andrade was going to show something that she hasn't seen yet, and she was going to be in her face, and she was going to do this, and she was going to do that. And it's like, she was like a fucking demon tonight. Pissed off that anybody believed that was possible, and she looked incredible. You know, it was one of the best performances of her career.
Yeah, it was. And so everybody's saying, look, the only person that that could possibly beat her is Amanda Nunes. But I mean, they're in different weight classes. I'm curious. Is that an appealing fight to you, or do you feel like they should have their own kind of legacy?
Yeah, their own legacies. Listen, they fought a couple times. You know, people can think whatever they want. There's always somebody else coming up. There's always a new contender, and it's not Valentina's fault that she's, you know, one of the all-time baddest women on this planet. So making her move up to 135 pounds just doesn't make sense. They did it twice. Yeah. Listen, if they both come to me and they both want to do it and whatever, then you know, I'll make it happen. But it's not something I'm thinking about.
We almost got Daniel Cormier out of retirement tonight to fight Jake Paul. I'm just curious what you thought about that whole spectacle. I mean, the crowd was chanting Jake Paul. They had the little, you know, confrontation there.
Listen, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This kid's done a good job of putting himself in a place to make some money, man. You know? So, good for him. He's got you guys talking about him all the time and asking questions about him, and got Daniel Cormier running after him, so he's doing something right. You know, he knocked out an NBA guy that was 40 years old and 30 pounds less than him, and you know, I don't even know what to think about the Askren thing, man. The whole thing is fucking mind-boggling to me. But hey, good for him. Grab that money while you can, kid.
I was gonna say, would you ever do business with him? I mean, it sounds weird, but the numbers are there.
The numbers are there? Nah, I don't know if the numbers are there. Listen, do you know what would happen to this guy? He ain't fighting in the UFC. These guys are... You're getting me talking about this fucking guy again. He's getting hand-picked opponents, and God knows what else is going on with that whole fucking thing. It's all... There is a market for that. That's not what I do. That is not what I do. People want to see that, and you know, people want to see it, and it's great. And this kid's going to make a couple bucks before this ride is over, and it's just not what I do. What I do is what happened tonight. What happened tonight is we sold this place out, and it was packed, and the numbers that you're hearing that they did are full of shit. They're full of shit, okay? They didn't pull those kind of numbers at all, not even fucking close. And tonight, what happened here tonight is what I do. The best versus the best. There is a market for that. People want to see that stuff, and that kid's going to make a couple bucks, and good for him. But that's not what I do.
Last thing for me, Danny, we're going back to the Apex next week, right? I mean, I'm just curious what you can say about the future right now, because I'm wondering if this weekend maybe had some venues call you, some governments call you, that sort of thing, and say, hey, you know, we see what you did there. We'd like a little piece of that too.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're going to Houston. We're going to Vegas, and then we're talking about possibly Arizona, and we'll see what else opens up. But I think that after tonight, you know, give it a week, let all the fallout. There'll probably be some negative shit. Who knows? You know what I mean? I went in on the Review Journal today. I went in on the Review Journal, and let me say this to you guys. I think a lot of us here like Adam Hill and are friends with Adam Hill. And I did not say Adam Hill, right? Because I know that you all have arrogant, smug, fucking editors, you know, pompous-ass editors who write your headlines for you sometimes, and, you know, some of the other bullshit that goes in there. And it just pissed me off that the day of the fight to read that in my own hometown newspaper. Fuck the Las Vegas Review Journal. Fuck them. Dirty. I thought it was dirty. I thought it was a low blow. And, you know, listen, at the end of the day, people can write whatever they want. So can I. So can I.
Dana.
Yep.
You often say that you're in the business of providing holy shit moments for fans, right?
Right.
Looking at the first fight of the pay-per-view to the main event, would you describe this as a home run in terms of that?
Yeah, listen, I don't think it gets any better than tonight. I mean, you couldn't have a better night than tonight. I mean, I don't know how you guys felt, but tonight was a whole night was a holy shit night. I mean, there wasn't like, oh yeah, we had a couple of holy shit moments tonight. The whole night was a holy shit. it was amazing. The crowd was amazing. The fights were amazing. And, you know, I think when it went off, Rose was like plus 165. You know, you had underdogs winning, and it was a pretty badass night.
I think we all know how much this event in particular has meant to you. You wanted to be first with fans back in the building. You've always said that we should try and push on during the pandemic. To do it, to pull it off, to have the entire night be a holy shit night. How important is this event to your career, personally?
You know, we've had a lot of milestones and, you know, things like that. I think just the whole getting through COVID, doing it safely, being the first one to come back, and then, you know, doing this tonight with a full indoor crowd. We COVID tested this whole week with the athletes and us. I COVID tested all week, and everybody was good, and we did it again. You know, it's time to get back to normal. You know, and I know a lot of you guys in the media don't feel exactly the way I do about a lot of things, but you can't deny it felt pretty fucking good to be in Florida this week and be normal. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask. And when I saw people wear masks, I didn't say anything to people wearing masks. When people saw people that weren't wearing masks, nobody said anything to people that weren't wearing masks. Everybody's just doing their things. You know what? People seem like they're a lot happier down here in Florida than they are in some of these other fucking states. You know what I mean? Everybody's doing their thing down here and living their life, and that's the way it's supposed to be. So it felt good to be here. It felt good to have, you know, the mayor, the governor, and all these people working with us to put on a safe event and for people to come out and have fun. It was awesome. It literally couldn't have been better. We couldn't have planned this any better or done it any better than we did.
Last thing for me, Nick Diaz was in attendance tonight. Is that just as a guest, or is there something going on there?
Yeah, Nick wants to fight.
Are you willing to give him a fight?
Sure.
Give us a name against who?
I will see how this goes.
Do you have? Is there any time frame?
He's waiting for me in the back right now. I'm going to go talk to him. So.
Bring him out here if you want.
No, that's
Okay.
all right. I'm sure he wouldn't like that.
Dana
over here.
Hey,
Over here.
yes, sir.
What do you think is the best pay-per-view that y'all put on? The 217 when you had the 3 belts when Rose first holy shit moment, or tonight? Because they're pretty
Different,
identical.
very different, very different. You know, tonight was a big deal on a lot of different levels. You know, being back with 100. I said I wouldn't come back without 100% of fans. We did tonight, and like we were talking about, it couldn't have been any better. So tonight's different than any other show we've ever put on.
In your opinion, did that kick solidify Rose as a certified future Hall of Famer and put that stamp, gold stamp of approval?
Yeah, first female to ever regain her title again. Never been done. And Ali, obviously, I know I do, and I know a lot of you do too, respect Whaley and how incredible she is and what a tough fighter she is, how hard she works, how hard she trains. And to come out and do what she did tonight was very impressive.
I get to come out in a second. What do you do with Jorge next? Nobody's really talked about that since we didn't expect what we just saw to happen.
I don't know. I don't know what's next for him. We'll see. But, you know, Kamaru Usman has cemented, you know, his legacy as one of the greatest ever in that division.
If he calls you up next week from his home in Dallas and says, hey, I want a super fight, do you think he's done enough to earn it? Since I know he had
Colby Covington's next. Colby Covington deserves the next shot.
And final question for me. From this point on, do you think the UFC will have that mentality to keep setting the standard on all around? Because in the boxing side, people see that number that you said was bullshit, the 1.3, and they want to know where the numbers are going to come from the pay-per-view side. What you got to say to that criticism? Because Jake Paul comes out of nowhere busting all this money, and then people are saying a fake fighter is making real money.
How much did he make?
He made, well, bonus, they said 2.5 to 3 mil.
Yeah. They said they did fucking 2 million pay-per-view buys, too.
At
I don't believe...
It's 1.3.
Okay. I didn't do that either. I don't believe anything they say. That's a fucking circus. That's not a real... None of that's real. I mean, do you think any of that shit that's going on over there is real? Come on, man. I built a real business here, a real sport. That's a freak show.
Hey, Dana, over here on your
Yeah.
left.
Wait, this guy's first. Go ahead.
Last year, you came to Jacksonville under different circumstances. You had 3 events here. This year, full card, full house, everything. Just speak to Jacksonville and Florida's accommodations for you personally and the UFC.
What's the question again?
You came here last year
Yeah.
under different circumstances.
Yeah.
This year, you came and sold out the card. Just kind of speak to your dealings with Governor DeSantis, Mayor Curry, and just everybody you dealt with here.
I can't say enough good things. You know, it's like when the pandemic happened, I needed people that were going to help us and work with us and try to make this thing safe and instead of just hiding and saying nothing can be done and just shutting down and laying people off and you know, that's never an answer. So to be able to have like-minded people that were willing to try to pull this thing off safely, and these guys were so good to us coming in. I said, listen, when this thing opens back up, I will reciprocate and I will come back and I'll put on a fight that means something to this city. And you couldn't get a hotel room this weekend in Jacksonville. We tried to get more hotel rooms for people that were coming in. We couldn't. I don't know what your experiences were with restaurants, but restaurants were hard to get into. Bars were packed. I mean, this town was booming this weekend, and that was how I wanted to pay Jacksonville back for what they did for me a year ago to help me run my business.
Will you be back again, Jacksonville? You plan on the future?
Absolutely. I mean, now, you know, what we want to do is we'll move all over Florida and, you know, do a lot of different cities in Florida to repay the governor of this state for everything he's done for us. Thank you.
Dana, you recently announced Adesanya was going to be fighting Marvin Vettori, and I heard you mention that Robert Whittaker is next. Is that locked in? He doesn't have to worry about fighting another guy. He's earned the right to wait it out?
Well, he should have been. He was who we wanted to fight next.
And then secondly, I'm wondering, because we're now traveling around the United States, Houston, going back to Vegas, I want to ask Abu Dhabi, is Fight Island technically still a thing, or is it that now just we're going to Abu Dhabi annually as before?
No, Fight Island's a thing. I said at the last press conference, I will see you guys soon and walk you through what's next on Fight Island. There's a lot happening on Fight Island.
And then my final question, Rose Namajunas, I feel like sometimes the conception is that she's had an up and down relationship with all the attention that comes with being a UFC champion. I was just wondering, what are your conversations with her? How have they been like, and how she's changed and grown over the years?
No, she's one of the sweetest human beings you'll ever meet. We love Rose. But yeah, Rose doesn't love all the attention when she's the champ and doesn't, you know, it's one of those things that you have to, it's part of the gig, it's part of the deal. But it hasn't made the fans love her any less. I mean, listen to this place tonight. People love Rose Namajunas. So we'll just let Rose be Rose, and I won't mess with her. Let her do her thing.
Congratulations on the night.
Thank you.
Dana back here.
Right here. Yeah.
This is obviously an event with massive interest. The last one in January, you kind of went after a lot of streamers. Any streamers this time you shut down?
You know, I wasn't even focused on streamers tonight.
That's a first.
Yeah, I had other issues tonight. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure this event went off. Yeah, we didn't even talk about streaming this whole week.
Dana over here.
Yeah.
Dana. You know, we've been talking about the strawweight division a lot, and it was a whole year since we saw the last title fight with Whaley and Joanna. I'm assuming you're going to want to hope to maybe have that title a bit more active with the division being so deep right now.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
All right, great. And I know you had a little bit of a small reunion a week or so ago with Nobuyuki Sakakibara, Ryzen founder, Pride founder. Just curious if you can tell us, anything about how that went, what it was about.
Yeah, no, it was good to see him, and yeah, we got together a couple times that week that he was in town and talked, and yeah, it was good.
All right, thanks, Dana.
Thank you.
Dana over here. Hey, Dana.
Go, Shmo's next. Go ahead, Shmo.
Dana, unfortunate situation with Chris Weidman's injury. Where would you say it ranks among the worst injuries you've seen so far?
It's only happened 3 times. Two of the guys that have were involved in this. The irony of that whole thing is crazy.
Were
And
you able to see him?
You guys, I'm going to go see him before I leave, yeah. How loud was that? Holy shit. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, and he yeah, I don't even know what to say about that.
And then lastly, I know you're going to go meet with Nick Diaz, but is it crazy to throw out Khamzat Chimaev as a potential opponent for him?
No. Go ahead.
Dana
Sir.
over here.
Yep.
So with Kamaru's victory tonight, the UFC still has 3 African-born champions, Kamaru, Ngannou, and Adesanya. Is UFC Africa still a strong possibility?
22.
22?
Yeah.
And earlier in this week, you said in an interview that John Jones priced himself out of negotiations by asking for $30 million guaranteed. He later went on Twitter and refuted that claim, saying that he never discussed that figure. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Okay.
Thanks, Dana.
Yeah.
Dana over here. Hi. Sulaiman Falana with BBC Africa. You had prefaced part of my question by saying that Kamaru has come way from when he said 30% to now, the way he's actually been fighting so far recently. In one word, how would you describe Kamaru Usman so far?
I love watching Usman fight. This guy comes in, if you look at him in his early career, he was one of those wrestlers that would come in and take you down, put you against the fence, try to grind you. He has completely evolved as a fighter. He's standing and knocking out Jorge Masvidal. I said it the other day, and I'll say it a million more times. The fight with him and Colby Covington is one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. Those two stood in there toe-to-toe, blasting each other until, Colby went down with a broken jaw. He's not afraid to trade with anybody. He's not afraid to stand with anybody. If he has to wrestle, he wrestles. He's become an unbelievable, well-rounded fighter, one of the greatest ever, and on his way to possibly being the best ever.
Now, you said UFC Africa is 2022. Would you definitely have all 3 African champions on that card if they're still champion by then?
Will I have all of them on there?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Well, we'll see. You know how quick this landscape changes in a year. We'll see where we're at in 22 when we're planning on going there, and who's where and what's going on. But I also believe that the amount of talent, raw talent that is possibly over there, and if you look at what we did all over the world in places that we've gone, whether it's Europe or we went into Australia, Canada, when we put on live events in these places, it ignites, training facilities start opening up, people start training, and I think you're going to see some bad dudes coming out of Africa in the next 5 to 10 years.
All right, thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Dan, just a couple more. As far as Usman, are you trying to keep him busy this year? Because you look at this division, I know you said Colby's next, but we have Nate Diaz and Leon Edwards in a couple weeks. You have Burns and Wonderboy. Like there's quite a queue building up for him.
Yeah, I don't think there is. Right now, I mean, the clear-cut guy right now is Colby. And then we'll see how all these other things play out for the next contender. But, there's no doubt that Colby Covington's the next guy.
And as far as Uriah Hall, I mean, obviously kind of a weird way to get a win tonight, but is
Yeah.
this the kind of victory that moves him forward? Because obviously, beats Anderson Silva, beats Chris Weidman, arguably the 2 greatest middleweight champions in UFC history back-to-back.
Yeah, yeah. It's a weird win, like you said. It's a weird win for him. But listen, a win is a win. So you didn't really get to see what Uriah's got tonight, but maybe we can turn him around quick and get him another fight.
Do you worry this is something Chris Weidman might not be able to come back from? I mean, it's not like he's a very young guy. We saw the challenges Anderson Silva had with the same injury.
Let's not. I don't even want to talk about it tonight. I don't want to say anything fucking. The guy's laying in the hospital right now. So let's see how he gets through this injury, and we'll go from there.
We'll send him our best.
Thanks.
Just here. Dana, Amanda and Valentina don't seem to like to talk about their third fight, but people want to see the third fight. Do you see Amanda and Valentina happening anytime soon?
We just talked about this.
Sorry, I was back there.
Welcome to the press conference. Good to see you.
Sorry,
We literally just talked about
yeah,
this.
Sorry. And now that she's defending Juliana, I heard the randomie is hurt. Where does Irene Aldana stands now? If she have a fight coming soon, if she could be be ready for in case that Juliana gets injured or something like that?
I'll need a translator for that one.
Does Aldana have a fight?
Aldana? Does Aldana have a fight?
And like, could she be a backup for the title fight?
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know the answer to that question, sir.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah? Have a good night, you guys. Thanks.